Hey, this is Robert Ferringo at Doc Sports, going around the board in 360 seconds. Around the board in 360. You can check me out at docsports.com. That's www.docsports.com. We hit our lone baseball play. It was a rare one-play day on Sunday. We hit with the Tigers and Royals going under. That's now 9 of 13 winning baseball nights, and we have picked up 2,600 over the last month on the diamond. Today's card, we're going with a little bit bigger than normal. I have a higher rated top play, and I have a 4-unit play and a 3-unit play, and then several 2-unit plays. The games that I'm looking at today are San Diego, Milwaukee, Tampa Bay, Boston, the Yankees and Texas, Oakland and Kansas City, Baltimore and Kansas City, Oakland and Houston, the Twins at the Angels, and the Indians at the Mariners. So that's our crop from whence our plays will come. So that's what we have going on. In the meantime, let's look around the board in 360. So it's all baseball today. The first game on the board is the Pirates at Nationals. That is my free play, so you can wait on that. And at the end of this cast, I will give you that free play. Also, we have the Braves at the Mets. That's one that I just wanted to stay away from because the Braves have been really overrated. They got off to that great start at the beginning of the year. They've basically been a 500 ball club ever since then. They don't play well on the road. They didn't look good in Chicago over the weekend, the first game after the All-Star break. I like Julio Teheran, but he's not really the same guy on the road as he has been at home. The Mets are very quietly becoming one of the best value bets in baseball. They took 2 out of 3 from kind of a desperate Philadelphia team over the weekend. Granted, that was with Wheeler and Harvey getting the job done. But the Mets are playing better baseball. They're very quietly, I don't want to say sneaking up in that division, but again, they're a value bet, so I just kind of tossed that game out. Miami is at Colorado, and the thing that jumped out at me about this game was the total. The total's coming in at 11. Opened at 10, was bet up to 11, so obviously he had some sharp money, pushed that total up overnight. But 11 just seems high. Tom Kohler and Drew Pomeranz are on the mound today. They are both awful, especially Pomeranz. But the way these two teams have been playing, not a lot of runs. I don't expect a lot of juice in this series, really, and in this game tonight in particular. Miami has played much better over the last 6 weeks than they had at any other point in the season, and they've been doing it because their pitching staff very quietly is having a solid little year. So 11 seems high, but, until we know the umps and the lineup and the weather and all that good stuff, can't really say, so I just kind of ditched that one. The next game I looked at were the Cubs at the Diamondbacks. I definitely liked Arizona here. Earlier in the day, that price was around minus 130. It has since jumped up to minus 145, so obviously action coming in on Arizona. They did not play very well in San Francisco, but they've been a great home team, and they're still the best team in the West. They're a playoff team as it stands right now. I don't know how much I trust the lefty Tyler Skaggs. And the Cubs are a team that that we like to bet against this year. But Matt Garza's on the mound. He's pitching to get traded, and you just never know how that's going to impact a pitcher. Are we gonna get his best stuff? Is Matt Garza going to be pitching every game now like it's game 7 because he wants out of Chicago? Or is kind of the pressure and all the focus on going to get to him? We don't know. One thing I will say is that if you are thinking about betting this game or any game involving Garza moving forward, make sure that you bet those games as action, because there's always the chance that Garza gets traded before one of his starts and gets pulled at the last minute. And if that's the case, then the Cubs have to go to someone who's a spot starter. You could end up locking in your bet and getting yourself a nice little value there. So yeah, keep an eye on that. The next game were the Reds at the Giants. The Reds coming off a real nice series win at home against Pittsburgh over the weekend, but now they're in a letdown spot, and they had to travel cross country over to San Francisco. The Giants are a team that I'm going to be looking at long and hard lately. They have not played well over the last 2 months, and they found themselves in 4th place out in the West. But they're still within striking distance. They're still the defending champs. I think that they have a run left in them here in the end of July and August. So I'm really looking at the Giants. The reason I didn't play them today is Tim Lincecum, and I want nothing to do with him right now after his 148 pitch no hitter. One of my rules of betting is never bet on a starter in the start after he has thrown 140 pitches. That's a little nugget that you guys can keep and use for yourself. So, again, I just kind of kicked that game out because I wanted to bet against the Reds being in a letdown spot and after the travel, but I also wanted to bet against Lincecum after his no-hitter, so that one's vamonos. And then the last game I looked at were the Tigers and White Sox, and again, that was an easy one to kick out just because Chris Sale's on the mound. I have no love for the White Sox. But Detroit, they're really shaky on the road. They lost 2 out of 3 against Kansas City. You just never know what you're going to get from them when they're playing away from Motown. I'm not going to bet against Scherzer, Max Scherzer, that's for sure. And I have a slight lean on Detroit. But again, I threw that one out because I don't like betting against guys as talented as Chris Sale, especially when there's other better value on the board. So that leads me to my free pick for today, our 1-minute winner, and that is Pittsburgh at Washington. And I like Pittsburgh in this one. I really like the underdog price on the Pirates after they lost that tough series at Cincinnati. They had a ton of chances on Saturday and Sunday to steal one of those games, and they just couldn't get it done. They left a ton of guys on base. They kept the pressure coming on the Reds, but they couldn't break through. Washington is trotting out Dan Herron today, and he is just not the guy that people think he is. He is not the Dan Herron of old. He's got a 5.61 ERA on the season, and the Nationals are 4-13 in his 17 starts this year. The Nationals have won just one of Dan Herron's last 11 starts. He's been one of the best pitchers to bet against in all of baseball, so I would definitely bet against him here today. The Pirates are going with Chuckles Morton. I'm not a big fan of his, but he's certainly been better than Herron. And the Pirates are one of the best teams in baseball. So if you can get him at a plus 120, plus 125, I think that's great value. They're 6-1 in their last 7 as a road underdog, 6-2 in their last 8 as an underdog overall. So, that's the play. Take Pittsburgh. Like I said, check me out at www.docsports.com, and good luck.